day, good evening. How are you doing? My name is Jordan, and this is the Friday session where we hold open webinars, guys. Okay, we aim here to show what we're doing during the week, what we're doing behind the closed door in the Traders Academy Co-op, and basically go over the trades and go over the report, see what worked, what didn't, why we took a given trade or not given a trade, we're not giving signals, but what was our idea behind a given setup, let's put it this way. Also a reminder about the systems and the strategies. If you're using any of the strategies developed by us, you can track our performance at vladimirribakov.com/performance-new, or you can find it here in the submenu. Of course, these tables are published to the websites of the given strategy. Here you just have it summarized, so you can quickly go over many of them, if that would be the goal. And I guess that's pretty much the whole idea here. Okay, the summary. So let's begin. Just one very important thing. Confirm that you can hear me first of all and see my screen, guys, before we move on. Valera, good morning. Guys on. Okay, so I guess all good. You can hear and see. In this case, let's begin, guys. Starting with the first one, which would be the Aussie CAD. Now we've been dealing with this pair for some time, and the idea here is sells. Okay, ever since we got the bullish hidden divergence on the daily chart right here, we dropped to the 4-hour chart. We started looking for the breakouts and the continuation lower. This week, not much different. This one paid. We're reaching towards the bottom. New pullbacks, new hidden divergences, this time on the 4-hour chart. And again, we're expecting the price to continue lower. Here we go, Aussie CAD. So this is the hidden divergence I was referring to on the daily chart. And ever since here, we start looking for the bearish continuation. And looking at the higher time frames, we can see that the next targets or the next levels that we want to go ahead and follow are pretty much at the bottom of this swing. Okay, and this is also two Fibonacci levels. They're kind of overlapping each other, so I'm not sure if you can see it, but there we are. 91.40 approximately is the name zone. So basically that would be the daily cycle, and that would be the 4-hour chart cycle right here. Of course, we excuse me, we want to see one more push lower. Whether we're going to see it or not doesn't really matter. Why? Because we have cashed out pretty good already. That's a completed cycle, okay, on the 4-hour chart, and this is already one leg divergence with a false break. So if we go ahead and break above this high, it means we might be actually starting bullish moves from here, but until that happens, it remains bearish. Okay, so Aussie CAD, very interesting and profitable setup. Aussie Kiwi is something which didn't develop as expected. Basically, our idea here was that we have this thing, okay, we got towards the bottom of it, divergence, breakout. So after pullbacks, we're expecting continuation. This pullback, if we can still call it a pullback, of course, because it was a very strong bearish move, took majority of the time during the week, okay, and now since yesterday, we see some bullish moves once again. The idea is simple. As long as the low here, the swing low, is holding, the plan remains the same. Also, let's not forget the 4-hour chart created here the hidden divergence, which more or less puts bullish pressure. So I'm not closing my position yet. Okay, still holding it. If you would like to join, okay, and you didn't join the breakouts here or anywhere else, I don't know, just try to find something based on a strategy that you're using, or look now for pullbacks that we have the bullish moves, now pullbacks and continuations, and those pullbacks could be based on the 1-hour chart plus hidden divergence, let's say, and some kind of continuation. At that stage, I really don't see any clear setups, to be honest. Okay, so maybe I don't know, give it some time to develop if you're still not in. Cool. So next would be basically for Aussie Kiwi, guys. You got the point, right? For Aussie Kiwi, what we're looking for is trades inside this channel or flag, or call it as you wish. And every time we're at the bottom, we're looking for buys. Every time we're at the top, we might be selling, but the sells here, in my opinion, are aggressive, while the buys are conservative. Why? Because of the higher time frame expectation of this thing continuing higher. So basically, we want to buy here, right, and continue higher. If you're going to sell in a bullish trend, yes, it's still a range, but more aggressive, which means anytime, at any moment, it could be breaking to the upside. So that's about Aussie Kiwi. CAD franc. Now for CAD franc, let me just bring up my notes here so we don't miss anything. For CAD franc, we do have slightly different opinions, me and Vladimir, I mean. He sees this one as a bullish opportunity, basically looking for pullbacks, excuse me guys, and continuation to the upside. Okay, I do see it as a possible bearish opportunity, to be honest, because the pair is moving inside this thing here against some sort of channel on the 4-hour chart at least, or daily charts. And my idea would be that if we go ahead and break below this zone, which is a very, very, very powerful level, not having divergence yet, okay, not having impulsive move, not having breakout of the highs or the trend line, this thing has all the reasons to continue lower. Okay, I'm not saying it's not possible to break. Anything is possible, right? It's the market. But until we get the confirmations of this breakout, I don't see a reason to go ahead and buy it. Okay, for me, this is a bearish trend. We're at the top of the level, and we could be easily look for sell opportunities if those would be provided. So, excuse me, dropping down to the 1-hour chart. Again, that's the level we're following, that's 74.50 approximately. You can see how well the market is respecting this zone, right? It's more than obvious. And now the interesting part, look what happens right here. We have, for the first time, break and close below. Not immediate pullback, okay, a few candles, then try to continue higher, rejected from that very same zone, and pushed lower again. Okay, so clearly it's trying to create that bearish momentum. There are no divergences yet forming here. The only way for us to go ahead and find divergence would be on the MAs, but I don't see a clear move to go ahead and rely on this one right here. So doesn't matter how I try to look at it from different angles, I still see it as bearish. Okay, if you're looking for more confirmations to go ahead and join, no problem, let it create the actual momentum. Okay, get away, move away from this zone, give us the pullbacks, hidden divergence to form right here, and then sell it. I have no issues with that. But again, it simply doesn't give me the bullish idea to look for buys here. Okay, even if we create divergences and all that, for me this one would be still a sell. Of course, different analysis, different views. If every trader in the world was thinking the exact same thing, there would be no markets, right? We would be all buying and selling at the same time. So that's basically my idea. So again, slightly different view. And that's about cut franc, guys. Then let's continue. Euro Aussie. Now this one, in my opinion, is a very rare opportunity. Okay, why? Because we're talking about weekly, daily, and 4-hour chart. All of them starting to point at the exact same place and at the exact same direction. Our idea is to look for sells. I wanted to see at least this zone holding, pushing upwards, going to this level, and then sells. This is exactly what we got. Okay, and now time to start looking for the actual sells. So basically that's the live chart. Okay, one cycle that we are following. Of course, the level from weekly zone, amazing level. This is fantastic resistance for us. Weekly chart already has multiple false breaks and divergences without breaking below, creating the convergence, right? We're just moving towards the top of this range, and now we're there. So until that zone holds, that could be fantastic place for us to start selling. Even towards the middle of the channel and the first swings, even in that case, we have superb risk reward ratio. So weekly range, daily cycle coming to 61.8 right here, divergence on the way, not completed. This is only potential divergence, guys, not a banner here. It could fly, break, and no divergence, right? So only potential divergence, but the pressure appears there together with the level. And 4-hour chart already started showing the same bearish pressure. So the sweet spot, the ideal place for the price to go ahead, touch and test is the 64. Okay, this is the daily level. That would be slightly above this zone, the first dashed line, right? So if we manage to get there, clean some stops, because trust me, there are too many people who already jumped somewhere in here based on this previous daily candles, the highs, right? They already went and jumped, and that's why we see this push lower. And they have stops somewhere around here, and those stops are most likely going to be eaten by the big guys. And this is what we want to see. Okay, we want to see that zone tested, which means stop losses cleared, which means big guys happy. Then we start looking for the reversal patterns, if they will be provided. Okay, of course, we give away a few pips. We can be attacking aggressively here, divergences and so on, but only with tiny exposure. If you want to be more conservative, wait for the reversal patterns. Once those appear, we can go ahead and start selling. And again, it's a very rare opportunity. I mean, such things really do happen rare. The hard time frames to line up like that, amazing. Of course, invalidation would be break above, would be break of the divergences, creating the momentum, trying to hold above this place and seeing another push and so on and so forth, right? all these signs are going to tell us, okay, this, as amazing as it looks, is not going to probably work out. That's why we have the reversal patterns to confirm all these things. And that's the beauty of it. If you're patient and you wait for the price to actually tell you, okay, we're reversing, we probably have over 80% success. Because if it's going to break, it simply breaks majority of the times, and you don't even have to hesitate, is it going to be or it's not going to be. It simply breaks, so invalidates it immediately. It's easy to remove the plan, that's what I'm saying. Cool, so that's about Euro Aussie. Keep it on the watch list, guys. Probably next week it would become interesting and clearer whether it's going to break or reverse. EuroCAD, now this is a range, okay? This is a daily range where we would like to see the price pushing to lower and dropping down to the lower time frames. We're following the breakout here, okay? That's the daily range. Breakout from the top, pullbacks, bearish hidden divergence, looking for continuation lower. So that's the daily chart. This is the daily pattern, 4-hour chart, okay? The hidden divergence pushes, and now we're stuck inside the zone. So at that stage, nothing much to be updated. Okay, no stops, no targets. Basically, we need to give it room to develop and see whether we're going to collect profits or stops. Euro pound. Now this fella was moving. Okay, that's an amazing push. And such moves usually provide very nice pullbacks. Unfortunately, those pullbacks usually come very fast without any further notice, right? Boom, boom, like we call them V patterns in the co-op. Not sure if that's the global name for it, but this is basically how it looks. Sharp moves up and down. So unless you drop to the very lower time frames, like 2 or 3 time frames lower, it's very hard to catch them, because if this is daily and you go to the 4-hour chart, let's say, it looks like that, right? Straight moves. In this case, it's not that bad, honestly. Euro pound here, because on the 4-hour chart we actually have, well, not the best swings, but at least we have some kind of lows, right? At least that, it's not like here. And the bearish momentum is in place. On the daily chart we have levels, we have cycles, that being one of those cycles which provide us with a great sell opportunity during the week. Another cycle is this one, okay, right here. So basically that's the one showed, and that's the final target of this cycle right here, 61.8, which means we still have room based on that to continue higher. And whatever we do, we might be looking for buy opportunities or try to catch sells during the pullbacks. Sells would be aggressive, buys would be more conservative. By saying more conservative, we need to, however, clarify something here. If the price is right here, guys, and you're ahead or in front of second false break and second divergence developing, that's not really conservative for me. Okay, that's not how I read it. Conservative in a bullish trend means pullbacks, okay, ideally hidden divergence to form, and then for you to start looking for the buys. Not on some extreme levels when the price already moved for I don't know how many pips and then you try to join. That's not conservative. Okay, so Euro pound remains bullish. If we look at the facts, there are no breakouts of significant lows, right? Even the inner ones that are in between moves are not giving away the breakout. Pressure is building, and in my opinion, we just need to be patient. Once the right time comes and we get the breakouts, I think we're going to see very, very serious moves to the downside. Until then, bullish, try to catch pullbacks, enjoy the moves, strong trend continuing higher. That's all. All right. Oh, I missed Eurofranc. That's why it was different on my chart. Cool. So Eurofranc, the idea is simple. We have daily range, we have cycle which completed itself, and now we need to see pullbacks, and those pullbacks start developing. Let's go to this one here. Now during the week, I told you, even since last week, up until here, that's not what I wanted to trade. Okay, that's not a reversal pattern. That's not momentum. This is a reversal pattern. This is bearish momentum here. Okay, then you can go ahead and trade the pullbacks or whatever you want to do. But that shows you, okay, divergence, convergence, a reversal is probably going to be delivered. That doesn't look like it, not at all. At least not for me. This is aggressive if you start trading it. I mean, this is a pure range inside the bottom of the range, right? Big range, creating a tiny move inside of it. That's why my idea, guys, was to let the pair create the momentum. If it's going to create the momentum, that was another idea which we followed, or maybe breakout. Okay, 3 scenarios. But by all means, wait for the momentum to be created, then let it give you the pullback. And this is exactly what we got. No hidden divergence yet, okay, but we do have it from this low. And that now becomes interesting. So we are currently inside bullish corrections. There is a good chance we're going to see some sort of ABCD here, then continuation lower, okay? That's very possible, but until then, why not enjoy the buys? Okay, we know we want to see the price going approximately around 113. So what do we have at the current stage? We do have trend line which is holding. We do have hidden divergence here from that low, which it's not, again, it's not a swing low, but it's still a low that the market is respecting. 1 hour chart, lovely. We said we want this zone to hold, and that zone is holding, and this is where we start getting divergences, false break number 1, false break number 2, and then breakouts. Again, the breakout is not perfect. Why? Because we don't have real moves right here. Based on the indicator, that's the middle point, right? And based on this one, we can't really say because it's only a spike and we don't have a high. It's the same candle here. But this one or that one doesn't really matter. We're seeing the bullish momentum. We have the levels, we have the zones, we have the higher time frame analysis. It makes sense, in my opinion, to go ahead and try the buys here, guys. That's all. Okay. Of course, tiny protection here because we have amazing level. Look at it. That's more than good for me. More than good. Which means protection slightly lower. Okay. And from here towards the swing, the previous swing, we have, I would say, 1 to 1.7 maybe or so, including fees, spreads, and so on and so forth. And if we're correct, and this thing is going to continue even higher, 113 we said, right? Here to this level and zone, then we have, where was that? Here, right? 20 pips, 40 pips, so 1 to 2, boom, 90 pips. Okay, looks good, looks good. let's see. So that's about euro franc. By the way, guys, any questions, you can actually ask questions. There is a small tab on your GoToWebinar thing, the software, which says questions there. You can go ahead and put anything. I'll be able to read it, and basically we can communicate, right? That's also one of the reasons why this session is open, so we can have discussions. If something is not clear, let me know. All right, moving forward, and the next one on the list is Euro Pound. We covered Euro Yen. Now this pair is absolutely tricky for me, okay, but that's the way Vlad sees it here. Okay, that's entirely his analysis, guys. Triple cycle, divergence, looking for continuation higher, and it all starts from the weekly chart in this case. Okay, daily chart, bullish divergence, pushing higher. 4-hour chart, looking for bullish setups after the correction. So basically something like that to be delivered. We do have a trend line breakout and hidden divergence. So this one showing bullish momentum. Now let's go to the live chart and explain myself why I believe this is very tricky situation. First of all, this bullish divergence already created hidden bearish divergence against from this swing. Okay, which means for me at least bearish pressure. And here comes the question, do we measure and validate the hidden divergence from this swing or that swing? Because if it's from the top, we don't really have hidden divergence. Okay, you see that? And this is where different opinions start to rise. So that's the first one. Second of all, 4-hour chart doesn't show impulsive moves. Okay, the only thing we do see here is that, and this is not an impulsive move. We came to the 100, 127 and then a reversal. Having in mind that we are in a bearish trend, that's the last swing which was not broken. We don't have an impulsive move that we can identify, at least I cannot. Maybe you can, but for me it would not be valid because I don't see it this way. 4-hour chart divergence formed, daily hidden divergence formed, 1-hour chart divergence confirmed all that we said above, but mainly the 4-hour chart. Okay, this one with another confirmation on the last leg. And then we got the breakout, and this is where we said, okay, now we have aggressive setups for the sells. Why? Because the 4-hour chart is building up divergence against the bullish hidden one, which is not yet confirmed at that stage. It was confirmed only here. And we have a trend line. So any sells here would be okay up until this point. Now it's interesting what happened, because now on the 1-hour chart we do have an impulsive wave, and the pair is trying to break below this 4-hour chart trend line. However, this is where again the H4 with the bullish hidden is being confirmed. Price is being rejected for the breakout, at least until now. And this impulsive wave, if that would be exact like the count which I drew here, needs to give us pullbacks anyways. So it doesn't matter how you look at it. In the very, very short term, I do believe this is going to happen. Okay, that's 1-hour chart. And this is where my analysis ends. H4, H1, the most recent action that I would be expecting is that. Any further expectations would be really, really hard to predict what's going to happen. Why? Because all time frames are giving us different ideas and different time ranges what to do and what to have. And that's why ideally you either go ahead and stick to the very short term, which is this one, or maybe better, even better, don't trade it at all. And I think I'm going to go with not trade at all, guys. Simply not worth the effort to go ahead and try to catch something which is not clear, at least not clear based on my analysis and my trading style. I'm sure some people are currently killing it based on their ideas, and that's more than okay, right? Different people, different traders, different ideas. So that's about Euro Yen, a really tricky one. But let's see how it goes. Euro dollar, not even interested in discussing that. It's more than clear. We've been talking about this one for weeks. Nothing changed. Those are the weekly and daily charts. So in 3, 4, 5 days, basically no changes. Just a quick summary. Weekly chart, double cycle completed. Okay, multiple divergences, and we started getting the momentum that we want to see with the breakout. So after the final double top that formed here and the multiple false breaks before that, we got a breakout. Okay, we got the convergence, and that means pullbacks should be delivering continuation upwards. That's about it, guys. In summary, buy pullbacks. Buy pullbacks. That's all. Not going to cover the charts here, or maybe let's cover it. Where is your dollar? That's the most recent plan. Okay, my idea was to see one more push upwards and then the deeper continuation to the downside for the pullbacks. It appears that we do have now ABCD. Okay, I'm following that as a possible scenario here. Whether it's going to be some sort of range or whatever, I still believe and expect one more push before a serious ABCD to appear. What else can we say? Hidden divergence in place. So that's all, basically looking for buy ideas, right? H1 divergence formed. Now it would be very nice if it manages to give us another break below or a false break. Okay, but I believe you got the point. Looking for buys. Kiwi cat, after that place here, which was kind of tricky a few months ago, it became really easy for trading now because it finds the momentum. The momentum is clear, it's bearish, so we just need to wait for pullbacks. Excuse me for a second. We just need to find the pullbacks that we can go ahead and sell. That 4-hour chart pullback, guys, right here, the ABCD, was more or less perfect. It delivered the breakout of the trend line continuation. Then we enjoyed all that move. That's the previous week. Now during this week, we got this beautiful consolidation coming with bearish hidden divergence as well, which meant we're looking for another push lower. Okay. This is the one it pushed. So all these short-term trades, they're delivering pips. If you're holding tiny parts of your exposure for the longer term, well done. Until we break below that low, I think we still have room, and that's at least 20, 30, 40 pips here. Why? Because once we come here, we're going to get into the bullish divergence territory. Okay, even though I do expect it to continue lower, we're probably going to see some reactions from this zone, which means if you're still in a sell, it might be a good idea to just cash out, okay, and then look for re-entries. But again, you might have different money management and trade management ideas, so just a suggestion. Kiwi. cycle, divergence, pullbacks, looking for buys as long as the price didn't break the 61.8 in a straight move. And unfortunately, this is exactly what happened here. The price did break below the 61.8 in a straight move. Okay, no reversals, no breakouts, no nothing for the buy. So this one would be removed now since once we start the next week reports. So that's a quick update here. Dollar cut divergences, two patterns that formed here, and the last divergence which made the pair to push lower, and now after the convergence we're looking for pullbacks and possible continuation to the downside. Going down to the 4-hour chart, we see bearish hidden divergence forming on the 4-hour chart, possible cycle forming on the H4, okay, and that hidden divergence, which is now starting to turn into continuing divergence here, should be confirmed on the lower time frames. No confirmation up until this point. Okay, now we do have the confirmation, and that's why I believe it becomes very interesting, because even if we consider this as an impulsive move, we should see the ABCD, and having the ABCD correction is more than enough for us to make some money, even if it's going to create that, right? The bigger ABCD and then lower. So technically speaking, we're focusing on the 4-hour chart hidden, the 1-hour chart cycle, the divergence, and I do expect to see some bearish moves. Ideally, we're going to test that level here, that zone. Okay, we're basically at the bottom of it. So any triggers from that stage could be serving us as a good entry. Matryoshka principle would be a very nice addition to your entry or an alternative to your current entry. Matryoshka principle is basically based on multi-time frame divergence scanning, and when it all fits together, like in this case, we can go ahead and check out the 15-minute chart and try to squeeze the price here. So basically, let's see if the price can get there or not and break below that low. A good swing now that was created should be providing us with a sell opportunity. First attempt, tiny exposure, of course. This is aggressive method for trading, so keep that in mind if you're going to do it. But the risk reward towards the bottom is simply fantastic, right? We can get 1 to 8, 9 here, so your 0.2, 0.1, 0.15 or 30%, I mean 0.3, right? Could easily become 2, 3%, 1%, relying on the risk reward ratio. So that's about dollar cut, basically bearish. Dollar franc still stuck in these ranges, but after the breakout, guys, do we have the breakout here drawn somewhere? Let me draw it. Okay, this is basically the breakout. We bounced from the top, and now we're looking for this. That's weekly, that's daily. Okay, no divergences, no nothing. Basically sell rallies. That says it all. Go ahead and sell rallies. That's what we have at the moment. In my opinion, we are currently stuck inside the range, which means selling the top makes a lot of sense. Okay, we do have a trend line if that range would be broken, and that's the trend line here. Okay, something like that. Basically forming a zone, very strong zone for us. We also have the parity level. Come on. Slightly above. So either from this zone, or if it breaks, the next zone I'm going to be following for possible sales is basically here. Okay, anywhere inside this place looking for sales, and once this thing breaks, we should be continuing to the downside. Dollar franc sell. Gold, silver are extremely bullish. Okay, we're looking for further continuations. Now let's go ahead and check out the live charts. On weekly chart, we have, that's the first, second, third, and then we have trend line. I'm really curious, guys, to see whether this is going to be breakout now or it will just stick. Come on. We can start identifying something that reminds a reversed inverted head and shoulders, and if that would be a neckline to be broken, even though we have divergence at the moment, a breakout here makes a lot of sense. Okay, so bullish, 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 bullish. Now we're coming into the levels, but the weekly potential divergence is just a potential divergence which could be broken very easily, and that's good for the buyers. Furthermore, daily chart, nothing, absolutely nothing yet suggesting for us that is going to stop. And even further than that, we have impulsive move here, some sort of consolidation, and now continuation higher. So I do expect to see approximately from that level, if it's not going to be a breakout, of course, if it's going to bounce, pullbacks, but those pullbacks must be confirmed somehow. Until then, guys, we have no confirmations yet. That means bullish. Okay, basically following the two scenarios, bounces or breakouts. A breakout would probably come without confirming the bounce, and the bounce is going to come most likely, again, over 80% of the time. This is how it happens. But they're not overlapping, they're not giving fake signals. That's the best part, because in my entire trading career, that was always the tricky part. Is it going to be A or B? And you never know until it's too late and you cannot even join. This trading method, it's perfect. Okay, that's why I love it so much. And it's actually the pretty basics, right? The ABCD breakouts and levels. It's really not that hard, and literally anyone could apply. Just some tiny knowledge about divergences, and that's all you need if you decide to go this way. Silver more or less looks better in my opinion, because we have room towards the top. Okay, this is just something which I like seeing in this case. Breakout, and now you can see we have much more room upside than gold, which is already in the resistance zone. So I would prefer to trade silver. Oil, I know it's not inside our report, but we're still trading the shorts here, and this is actually a trade we discussed. This is based on SPT, guys, if you're wondering. SPT is a free strategy for the members of the Traders Academy Club. So if you did not download it yet, please go ahead to the members area and find your copy there. But basically, it's what does it do? It's a cloud, okay, based on MAs. We have another confirmation for trend and the higher time frames based on swings. Okay, so once it's very simple, once everything shows green, red, 2 out of the 3 plus green, come on, red, you're looking for breakouts, whether these breakouts are going to be trend lines or lows, basically the step trading, right? You can go ahead and attack. So that was an amazing sell here. We came to the cloud, started forming lower highs, and the more conservative and the more aggressive, both of them managed to pay. Okay, now not ideal. Why? Because this thing is still gray, and we need it to become red before we can go ahead and sell. So that was one very interesting and cool opportunity. Euro franc right after the breakout here, okay, turned green, and at that stage we had it here bullish. Right now it switched, but it was like this, and then you find yourself ABCD breakout, or if you don't like trend lines, high, aggressive, conservative, breakouts, boom, a move. Now this is something I expect to switch also, but not there yet. So guys, that's more or less the whole list with these few extra things here that we showed. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And of course, for the TAC members, if you have anything that you'd like to discuss further than that, guys, find us on the Telegram groups and we'll take it from there. So bye for now.